I'll forever submit to you, Miles. I'll forever respect you, Miles. I'll forever honor you, Miles, as the head of our home. In heaven, they hear. On earth, I declare and decree, I shall be a submissive wife unto you.
I wasn't originally going to make another video about Passport Bros, but New York Post on June 2nd posted this video right here, along with an article, and they titled it, "I'm a Passport Bro, we want traditional wives, not mail order brides." Now, first of all, what you'll probably notice is that they don't seem to understand that Passport Bros is specifically black males traveling. There are other males who travel, and in many cases you had, white males. They were doing this more often originally. And those aren't actually Passport Bros, because the when you add that word bros, that term denotes black males. If you look on TikTok, the majority of the attacks against the Passport Bros are black females attacking the Passport Bros. And that term bros, that implies that these are black males traveling. Now, the white males who travel abroad, those are not the Passport Bros, those are Passport Joes. Okay? And then you have these women who felt that they could do the exact same thing and that they could travel abroad and get men. Unfortunately, they didn't realize that foreign men aren't interested in them beyond getting money out of them when they come to their country. So those are actually called the Passport Hoes. They're not considered Passport Sisters or Passport Bros. No. They're called the Passport Hoes. So this is yet another term. So you got three terms: Passport Bros, Passport Joes, Passport Hoes, right? Now, when these women got upset about the fact that they couldn't so easily go overseas and get women at their age, when these women got upset that they couldn't go overseas and get younger men like the men here can go overseas and get younger women, what they started doing is they started, using shame, blame, and explain language, and they started trying to make it a pejorative to be a Passport Bro. That's the reason why they came on TikTok to start attacking these black males, because they were taking their resources and leaving. And these women expected those black males to be their plan B after they've ruined themselves and ruined their lives, right? So what they started doing was they started trying to figure out ways to make it a pejorative. So they started calling them human traffickers. They started calling them predators and this, that, and other. Those are actually called the Transport Bros. And they're called the Transport Bros because they transport hoes. That has nothing to do with the Passport Bros. There's two other types of bros. One is called the Plantation Bros. The Plantation Bros are the Macs and the players and the losers who stay in America while the Passport Bros are overseas having fun and getting wives. So the Passport Bros are black males. The Passport Joes are white males. Passport Hoes are women who go overseas trying to trick on men. The Transport Bros transport hoes. And then you've got the Cleanup Bros. Cleanup Bros are stepdads. So basically it's like if you go to a party and you get there late and you're expected to still clean up at the end of the party. Well, basically that's what the stepdads are. So there was a big party and they hadn't been there. And then when they finally do get there, now they're expected to clean up the mess after the party. And then there's the guys who stay behind. Those are the Plantation Bros. So you got the Passport Bros, Passport Joes, Passport Hoes, Transport Bros who transport hoes, and then you've got the Plantation Bros, then you got the Cleanup Bros. Now, that's just what it is. So my problem with New York Post is New York Post doesn't seem to understand that the Passport Bros in and of itself, that word specifically denotes black males who are specifically traveling. Nowhere in history will you see Passport Bros used to specifically focus on white males, because it wasn't. It was used to focus on black males. So let's just understand that right away. Now, there's a reason why we have to be so specific and that we have to be so selective with the language. And it's very simply because you have to be very careful who gets into your movement. If you let people into your movement who have unsavory ideas and who have unsavory practices, it ruins the movement, because now they get in there and then people may start talking to them and interviewing them, and then they say stupid shit, or they say something that's completely unsavory that we don't represent, or something that doesn't represent us. And we have to be very careful about that. So it's important that Passport Bros continue to specifically be black males. I'm sorry, that's just what it is. Now, in this story, now that I've given you that explanation, in this story it says Passport Bros are looking for love, but not just any gal will get the entry stamp into their hearts. Eligible bachelors in the U.S., dubbed Passport Bros, are flocking to foreign countries after ditching the American dating pool in search of love overseas, much to the disgust of women on the internet. So they have hyperlinks for videos, but you could pretty much guess who's saying what, because we've all seen that garbage already. They've all said the same stupid nonsense. They're basically a bunch of strags on TikTok yelling and screaming because they realize that if there's too many Passport Bros, that they are not going to have any opportunity to get wifed up in the future, which they're pretty much not now, but they're not going to have it in the future either. So, because see, here's the thing. What they think is that they think that they can waste their life and waste their youth and waste their beauty. And then when they're like 30 or 40, that the Passport Bros, who are now Passport Bros, they think that those guys are supposed to just wife them up. It's like, it's not going to happen. And especially now, because now, this is what they were afraid of. You see, they always kept telling these women, you need to find a husband because winter is coming. No. They were so worried about winter coming that they totally forgot about summer. And the issue that they're having with the Passport Bros is not only are they going overseas and getting better deals, on top of that, they're making videos and footage showing the better deal. So the problem with that is once that video and that footage gets out on the internet, it shows all these younger men. It's like, wait a minute, look overseas, look at this. The grass is greener over here. The hair is real over here. The nails aren't raptor claw nails over here. And the Passport Bros, you post these videos, and it's making them very upset. And a lot of young men are saying, you know what, wait a minute, why? I'm not staying home. I'm going overseas, get me something foreign, because at least I can get a real wife who I can trust, So the main places that they're going to DR, the Dominican Republic, they're going to Colombia, they're going to Brazil, and they're going to Southeast Asia. They're going to Philippines, Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos, China, South Korea, Japan. And I'm on my community chat, I've been posting. Anytime I see that there's a Passport Bro wedding, anytime I see these black men smiling with all their teeth, and they got their beautiful wife in the picture, and they smiling. They're like, man, this is great. I'm so happy I got married, and I have a real wife and everything. And she doesn't have tattoos, and she doesn't have fake hair and all. I post all that stuff in my community chat. And I get hated on by some of these TikTokers who come by just to say, oh, yeah, well, she's just going to leave him, and she's just going to take his green card and run and all that. But they don't know anything. It's like they're acting out of anger, and they're acting out of jealousy, and they're talking out of desperation because they see the future coming. First of all, let me just explain this real quick because I want to get back to the story. Your president that y'all voted for, Biden, he's letting these people flood across the border, and these people are your replacements. You are being replaced. Now, see, white people out there, they call it replacement theory. No. I call it replacement fact. The facts show that you're being replaced. The reality is you have to have at least like 2.3 children in order to keep up your population, right? But there's no such thing as 0.3 children. That really comes out to you have to have 3 children because you can't have a fraction of a child, right? These people are coming across. These people have big families, 6, 7 kids. Most of these women are coming across pregnant already because they didn't survive that migration without getting pregnant. I'm not going to go into that because I don't want to talk about the transport bros because they transport hoes. But anyway, you're being replaced. You're going to be replaced, number one, by robots and technology. I think we already understand that because I just saw a story talking about how ChatGPT replaced a lot of workers, and now those people are doing meaningless jobs like that don't have health care and whatnot. And ChatGPT replaced them. ChatGPT has replaced journalists. Some of these articles, in fact, can literally be written by goddamn artificial intelligence. So you're being replaced by robots, you're being replaced by artificial intelligence. That's number one. Number two, for all the service sector jobs that you feel that you're so high and mighty that you don't need to do, you're being replaced there too. Because those people, I was just on the highway the other day, and these people are literally walking up to your car. They're selling you mangoes in cups. They're selling you watermelon in cups and all this. They're selling you all this fresh cut fruit. Now, my thinking is, it's like, wait a minute, what's happening? Are we having like, is this like something new where we have food service while we're in traffic? But bottom line is, who else could you get to do that? You couldn't get these Americans to walk around doing stuff like that, walking up to people's cars in heavy traffic, selling mango slices and watermelon slices. And I'll tell you what, the next time I see this, which is basically every day, I'll take video of it and show you what I'm talking about. Because maybe in your state you don't have this because you don't have a lot of traffic. Here in New York, we absolutely have this. We got people literally walking through traffic selling waters and mangoes and watermelon and cherries and stuff. All this fresh cut fruit. And it looks good. But my thing is, it's like, wait a minute. There's like a food service and we're in traffic. It's like we're not supposed to be focusing on buying food while we're driving our car. But the bottom line is, your President Biden, he's letting them in. They're occupying. That's what they're doing. They're occupying. You remember that Occupy Wall Street movement that failed? Well, they're occupying all of the empty hotel rooms in your area, all the empty Section 8 houses. They're occupying that. And guess what? As soon as they get a little bit settled, they're coming for the jobs. And I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying, because most of these people actually work very hard. I'm just saying you're being replaced. Not only are you being replaced, if you do happen to have kids, your kids are going to have that as competition. And they have so much more to work for than your kids that while your kids are sitting there watching TikTok and being stupid, they're going to be working their asses off to be the next salutatory and valedictorian. Your kid's going to fall behind. Eventually, your whole family's going to fall behind, and you're just going to get swept off the goddamn chessboard. That's what I'm saying. And if you don't understand that, then you're stupid. Sorry. So anyway, this is women are raised to be good wives, dress modestly, and submit to their partners. That's right. They do. Austin Abeta, which first of all is not a passport bro because he ain't black, is just one of many in the brotherhood. No, he's not. He's one in the many of the, I'm not even going to say it, who flaunts his prowess online, fondly referring to his travels as the adventure of a lifetime. I have no idea who this guy is. He never swore into the Passport Bros movement. We have no idea who this Abeta is. I have no idea who this guy is. He's not a Passport Bro. He qualifies as a Passport Joe. He's not a Passport Bro. We don't know this guy. And it says he's a proud proponent of the Passport Bro movement. So right here, even though he's not a Passport Bro, he's a Passport Joe. But you see this photo right here? I think I might use this photo right here as the thumbnail because this is pointing to the article that we're reading. This is why these American women are... Now, in fact, perfect. Look, I'm looking at this photo for the first time. So here you go. This is him, right? I want you to look at him. Oh, God damn it. This auto scaler sucks. All right, wait. Let me go back. Oh, they have a video clip that he posted, but I need you to look very closely at this. The auto scale is not that great, but there, oh my God. Okay, you see this? Look at him, look at her. This is what we call a receipt. So we're in another country, Passport Bros. We got receipts, right? But I also, and see, this picture is perfect. You know how they say a picture says 1,000 words? It has 1,000 words. A picture has 1,000 words, right? Look at him, how much fun he's had. Now, obviously, he's having fun. He's a motorboat. I drink your milkshake. I drink it up. I don't know if you saw There Will Be Blood, but that was a perfect movie. That was a brilliant movie. That's my favorite movie recently. That's my favorite Daniel Day-Lewis movie. He's having a great time. But look right here in the, oh my God, the stupid scaler. He's having a fabulous time, but look in the corner. Look at her face. Look at this. You see her right there in that corner? That's the problem right there. Look at that. That is a perfect photo. It tells the whole story. Oh my God. It says a problem repeatedly occur. Hold on. I'm going to have to pull up that picture separately. Hold on one second. Yeah, see, they put so much junk on these photos that the scalers get messed up. But see, when you open up photo mode, it's easier to look at it. So this guy's having a great time. He's motorboating. He's drinking up milkshakes. I drink your milkshake. Hey, if you have a milkshake and I have a milkshake, but I have a straw that stretches across the room, I drink your milkshake. I drink it up. So anyway, he's having a great time. But look right here in the corner. Look who's not having a good time. Look at that. She ain't having a good time. And you see what she's looking at? She's watching that gorgeous chick get motorboated by the passport bro, who's most likely going to be so happy with that woman that he's going to put a ring on her finger. But look at this one right here. Look at that face. Look how angry that face. Look at that face. You see that face? Look at it. She looks very upset, doesn't she? Because she's not getting motorboated. She's not getting a ring. So this right here, you see how they say a picture's worth 1,000 words? That's what I'm talking about. Right there. I guarantee you that this chick's going to go back home, dejected, bored, and she's going to hop on the internet and she's going to start posting negative comments on TikTok. Because this is the face of, this is the face right here of the average TikToker who's posted all this negative stuff. She's mad because she's at the beach. He's balling and she ain't balling. To quote, what was it, that 50 Cent song. That's why she's mad. Look at that. Look at that face. You see, it's important for you to stare good at that face because I need to get this into your mind. This is who you're up against. Right there. She's mad. Where's the motorboat for her? There's no motorboat for her. Now, I'm sure she could find somebody, but, she didn't. So this guy is having a great time. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Man, this guy's having a good time. I can't call him a passport bro, but boy, this guy's having a good time. You can tell this guy's having a good. Can you close your eyes and imagine what a great time this guy's having? This guy's having a fabulous time. He's having so much fun. He's never had this much fun ever before. This is the reality of a passport bro right here. This is what it means. And see, when you start posting receipts like this, you got these dating coaches on YouTube, dating roaches who've been selling false hope like they're a lottery ticket vendor, selling false claims, not showing receipts, right? But the average passport bro is this. The average passport bro shows receipts. The dating roaches on the internet, they can't keep up with the receipts the passport bros are showing. They can't keep up. So what happens? They start to look, I don't want to pull that out of the picture. My iPhone, you see that? iPhone 14 has the ability to take a picture out of the picture and you can make AI images with it. You can post that into another picture. I don't want to do it. You can copy, paste portion of the picture. But the bottom line is, that right there, you see this? That's the dating roaches right there. Those are the dating roaches. Look at that face. That's the dating roaches. That's how upset they are. They're angry because they can't sell their stupid, what are those things? They can't sell their courses anymore. They can't make that money like they used to make anymore. Selling people false claims and false hope. Selling men false claims and false hope. In fact, the passport bros are taking money back away from OnlyFans, taking money back, like they used to splurge and trick on these women on Instagram. They're doing that less now because now they realize, wait a minute, if I save up my money, I could go overseas, get my passport, I go overseas, and I get an actual wife. I don't need to send people money for foot photos on Instagram. In fact, I don't even know if these feet photos are men or women anymore. I don't have to do that. I could just save up, get my passport, go overseas, get a wife. You see that? You see that face? I want you to remember that face right there. Because that face right there tells you exactly who's there. Why you mad? You see? That photo right there is worth 2,000 words.
In China, if you are over 25, you are expired in the dating market. You are called a 剩女, leftover woman.
A what?
A leftover woman. After 25, you can't be picky anymore. It's like Leonardo DiCaprio's girlfriend. Imagine China is Leonardo DiCaprio.
China is Leo.
The whole China is Leo.
Says remote worker Abetya has gone viral as the self-styled digital bro man, scoring more than 413,000 followers on TikTok. All while he travels to Colombia, Thailand, South Korea, and Philippines, allegedly in search of a blushing bride. A lot of women overseas are taught from a young age from their mothers and other members of their family how to treat a man and how to make their future husband happy. This guy's from Colorado. He's not a goddamn passport, bro. Anyway, who is looking for a kind and cooperative partner with a positive view on men, told the Post. But in America, I think a lot of women were taught men aren't shit or I don't need a man. In his videos, Abetya gloats about the myriad of benefits that accompany dating overseas. For one, men from the U.S. are exotic when we go overseas. He claims a TikTok post with 1.8 million views, adding that playing into the stereotype of a rich American will take a single man far. Well, first of all, I don't like necessarily the stereotype of a rich American man, but what I will agree with is that when American men do go overseas to other countries, yes, we are exotic. And that definitely helps. But the thing about it is, even without having to necessarily be American, because you could be Canadian too, or you could be like a British, or you could be Australian, you're still exotic. Here's the thing: you gotta understand. You gotta understand the logistics of the numbers, the population. There are a lot of women. There are women outnumber men, or I should say, marriage age women outnumber marriage age men. Right. So what ends up happening is that there's so many women to men that most women won't be able to get a husband simply because of the numbers. Now, when you look at a place like Eastern Europe, if you look right now, because you can easily prove everything I'm saying, the male to female population's out of whack. There's more women in Moldova than there are men. There's more women in Belarus and Russia, and especially now that Russia and Ukraine are fighting, most of those young men are dying left and right. So that means that there's a lot of young women who have no future husband prospect. So what do? They got to go to other countries. They got to go to Poland. They got to go to the Czech Republic. They got to go to other countries because the women are escaping the wars, right? And the young men are dying because they're busy fighting for whatever reason. See, if the young men were smart, they'd be like, wait a minute, I'm not fighting. Fuck that. I'm going to stay home and play Call of Duty like American boys do. Because that's what the U.S. government is pissed off, that they can't get these boys to sign up to be military because the boys are busy sitting home playing pretend military. And then not only that, the boys are being raised by single mamas, so their bones are weak. The government literally said this. They said their bones are weak, they're undisciplined, they're fat. Because when you get raised by a single mama, chances are you're going to have body issues. But the reality is, these countries, they have more women than they have men. Now, there are a few exceptions. India and China, they had one-child policies that screwed their numbers up in favor of the men, so now they have more males than females. So what ends up happening is, in countries like that, the men actually end up having to go outside of their country and travel and find women. Now, there's not a lot of suitable women when you're dealing with a country like India or China, where you're dealing with partially you're dealing with xenophobia, and then second of all, you're dealing with very strict religions where they want you to marry somebody just like you who has the exact same religion or somebody very similar to you. So in India, for example, they have very low divorce rates, very low. The divorce rate's less than 1%. The women who get married in India stay married. Those women are Indian women. Indian men who want to get wives and can't find them in India end up having to go outside of the country. They have to go to Southeast Asia. They go to Philippines, Thailand, Cambodia, so forth and so on. Chinese men, for example, they can't just get any woman because, for the most part, white, Western, European women aren't interested in Chinese men for the most part. So those Chinese men, they have to go down to Laos, Burma, Cambodia, so forth and so on. They have to find wives down there because their one-child policy messed it up for them. Even South Korean men who are dealing with feminism, and they're dealing with extremely hypergamous women, those South Korean men, those Japanese men, they have to travel down south. But the bottom line is Asia has over 4 billion people. So there's lots and lots of opportunity. South America has over 800 million people. There's a lot of opportunity. Africa even has over 1 billion people, and they're spread out pretty far. There's a lot of dating opportunity there. In most of these societies, the men do the difficult, dangerous, and dirty jobs, including the military, and they end up dying early. So what ends up happening is it throws off the male-female population, and in most of these countries, the females outnumber the males. So that means that for us passport bros here, out of America, there's about 330 million people. If you figure that there's about 42 million are black, and you think about half of that, maybe about 20, let's say 21 million are black males, and then you cut that number down and you look for the black males of marriage age, there's really not that many of us. So when we go overseas, oh yeah, we could easily find women who are overseas, easily. Then, and the last thing I'm going to say, you may not have ever heard this before. You may not have heard me say this. The Chinese and the Japanese, specifically. Now, China has a very large population, right? If you look them up right now, you'll see that they have population decline. Even in China, there's a population decline. Mostly it's because of the economy. But the second problem that they have over there is that the Chinese men refuse to marry certain women. If the women are over 27 years old, the Chinese have a term. They call them shengyu. Shengyu. And that means leftover woman. The Chinese men refuse to marry shengyu. And then there's the Japanese. Now, the Japanese guys are brutal. You see, the Japanese guys refer to the Japanese women who are overage. They call them Christmas cake. Why is it that they do that? Well, in Japan, they don't celebrate Christmas the same way we do. See, we celebrate like Santa Claus, and we celebrate giving gifts and this, that, and other. The Japanese after war, and I did this story a while ago, the Japanese after World War II, what they did was they learned to associate cake with wealth, because after World War II, it was very hard to get sugar. It was very hard to get the things you needed to make a cake. So they celebrate by giving people cake for Christmas, because cake signifies wealth and prosperity, if you get my drift. Now, here's the problem. Japanese people don't eat a lot of cake. As you can see, they're very skinny, they're very small-bodied, and they're very healthy because they eat a lot of fish, right? So what ends up happening is those cakes go to waste, and they put those cakes aside, and now what you've got is leftover cake, right? So if you ask a Japanese man, and you ask him, you say, excuse me, why do you have to go to Cambodia? Why do you have to go to Laos? Why do you have to go to Vietnam? Why do you have to go abroad to find a traditional wife? Why isn't it that you just can't get a Japanese wife who'll give you a traditional marriage? Or why don't you just get a wife from one of these Japanese women who's over 27? Why don't you just get a leftover cake? Or why don't you get a Christmas cake wife? Well, that Japanese guy, he's going to look you square in the eyes. He's going to narrow his vision. He's going to narrow his eyes. He's going to get very angry. He's going to get very, very resentful of you. And he's going to look right at you. And he's going to say, no! No! What the Christmas cake? No! 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 What the Christmas cake? So that's pretty much how it is over there. So they refuse to marry the women who are over 27, right? No, I want the Christmas cake. American men, well, because we've had our, demands and desires out of women beaten down so much. Well, American men don't have a problem with Christmas cake. So if we go over to their country, if we go to Japan, we go to China, we find a 27-year-old woman or 28-year-old woman, 29, 30. We don't have those same hangups because as far as we're concerned, I guess women can get pregnant up until the age of 50 or something. Japanese men ain't having it. No! What the Christmas Kato? They're not having it. But American men, we don't mind. It's like as long as she's fit, feminine, and friendly, she may be up there in age a little bit, 30 or something, but it's not a big deal. Japanese men ain't having it. Chinese men ain't having it. The South Korean men ain't having it. Those three countries, they're going down south and they're getting wives from down south. That's what's happening. Now, if you want to challenge anything I've said, all you got to do is go on the internet and do the research yourself and then get back to me because I guarantee you can't disprove anything I've just said. Guaranteed. I've done my research. I've lived in those countries, so I know. So anyway, where are we? He has a video here. I'm not going to play the video. You could go on New York Post and you can play the video yourselves this way. I can't be challenged for copyright and this, that, and other. But as you can see, this guy's having a great time. Look at this. Look at this. He's drinking milkshakes, left and right, milkshakes. So he's having a good time. The truth that a lot of people don't want to admit is that dating overseas is absolutely different. The digital analyst, 32, told the Post, there are very few men that will tell you that dating outside of America isn't 5 times better. The larger collective of passport bros, or those who hold similar beliefs, champion Abetya, I have no idea who the hell this guy is, in the comment section of his viral videos while denouncing the dating landscape and American women in one foul swoop. A lot of American women are bitter because they have a shitty attitude. Cause I have no idea why if you're quoting somebody in a newspaper that you can't just type shit. It's not a paper. If this had been some mass murderer, you would have probably quoted him and wrote the word out. I'm just going to say it. Shitty attitude and don't understand that most men believe in patriarchy. I think they do understand it. I think they just don't care that you believe in patriarchy. So the bottom line is, if you believe in patriarchy, if you believe that a man is the head of the household, if you believe that a father is the head of the family, then you ain't going to get what you need here. Get your goddamn passport, $200 tops, rush delivery. Get your goddamn passport and get overseas. Because you're not getting your patriarchal male head of the family here. Because the women here, they're off their rocker, and we have a welfare state that supports them. Without the welfare state supporting them, they would never be able to pull off this nonsense. But we have a welfare state here. And that welfare state has pretty much thrown dating and marriage out of whack. Someday, they'll try to probably ban the word abortion. They'll probably, no, not abortion, I'm sorry. They'll try to ban the word bastard. See, one thing I appreciate from Game of Thrones is Game of Thrones brought that word back. So anybody who saw Game of Thrones, they are well aware of what the word bastard means. Illegitimate birth. They are well aware now what an illegitimate birth is. If your parents aren't married, then that's what happens. That's what it is. And they are going to probably try to ban those words. They're slowly chipping away at traditional norms in America, and they're getting their just desserts. They're getting more violence. They're getting more crime. They're getting young kids who are growing up to be criminals, female and male. That's what happens when you destroy the order of a society. When you damage the order of a society, that's what you get. More crime, more prisons, more violence. And that's what they've done. They've ruined society. You go over to those other countries, and this is another thing. Forget the women for a second. When we go over to these other countries and we see order in a society, we're like, wait a minute. It's not like that home. This place is fucked up. You get your car broken into. You get your wheels stolen off your Mercedes. You get subway riders pushing people onto tracks. When was the last time you heard about somebody get pushed on the tracks in China? When was the last time you heard about somebody getting pushed on the subway tracks in Thailand? Yeah, right. So when you abandon societal norms and tradition, this is what you get. You get no fathers in the household. You get out of whack kids who are sitting around on TikTok because their mama bought them $1,000 phone from a welfare check, EBT card used to buy iPhones. That's what you get. The only way to win, as we learned in the movie War Games back from the 1980s, the only way to win is not to play. So what men are doing now is they're getting their passports and they're going overseas. And they're finding real relationships and real wives. That's what they're doing. Real families grow out of that. Not what you got here in America where you're constantly looking over your back. Oh my God, she might divorce me today. Not over here where you got family court is filled with juvenile delinquents. Family court is filled men going back and forth to court over child support payments because the women got pregnant and weren't even married to them. Or they were married and now the woman decides she wants to be the head of the household, so she divorces him because he talks back and says, no, I'm the head of the household. So they have a fight and then she divorces him. You're not fighting that bullshit overseas. The divorce rates are quite low. And I'm not talking about these high divorce rate countries in Western Europe and parts of Eastern Europe. No, I'm not talking about Russia and those areas. Ukraine and Russia, they have some of the highest divorce rates there are. I'm talking about countries like India, talking about countries like Philippines, where they don't even have divorce on the books. Don't even have it. So this is what I'm saying, guys. Get your passports. Book a flight. Don't catch feelings. Catch flights. Where are we? The difference is that women from other countries actually appreciate being treated well, unlike a lot of women here in America. Wannabe hubbies can certainly find a quality partner in the U.S., I bet you admit it. But dating overseas has been a 10 out of 10 experience. And the majority of men who have left will tell you that. See this picture? A picture's worth 1,000 words. Get a passport, come to Colombia. Now, let me just be perfectly honest. I don't trust any of those South American countries. I grew up in the 80s. I am a millennial. I grew up during the Reagan era. As far as I'm concerned, the majority of them South American countries, those places are narco-terrorist states. And even if that's not true, even if what I'm saying is stereotype, the issue ultimately is that I got programmed at a young age to not trust any part of South America. Every single movie I've seen about South America has been violence. What was it? Man on Fire. The Predator. I believe that took place in Guatemala. And by the way, forget just the Hollywood. Just a couple of weeks ago, some black people were in Mexico and they got shot up by somebody who carjacked them. And then the Mexican cartel turned those gang members in who killed those people. And even once you turn these people in, those people are still dead. It's like, I'm not going down there. Fuck that. When I go to countries that have complete totalitarian control over their populations. There are no gun crimes like that when I go to China or when I go to Thailand. Yeah, there are a couple of gun crimes, but there's nowhere near anything what you see in Mexico or South America. Nowhere near it. Black man from Staten Island went down to South America. He was taking pictures near Barrio or something. And he was just taking pictures like a tourist would do. And these guys came out, took his camera, and shot him. The story, I could easily post that story, but it's there. Just type up black man from Staten Island killed in South America and it'll come up. Or just type up black friends were in Mexico. And not only, this doesn't just happen to blacks, this happens to whites too. There was a white family who was down there in Mexico at the border. Cartel shot up their damn car. Nah, man, I'm not going down there. I'm not going down there. So I don't give a shit about Cancun. I don't care about Grand Riviera. I ain't going down there. No, that place is fucked up. When they fix it, okay, yeah, I'll go down there when they fix it. But nah, man, when I go to these countries, man, these people over here in China, South Korea, Japan, they wouldn't dream of harming a tourist. They wouldn't dream of it because their government, you know what Japan does to people who commit crimes like that? Japan gives you the death penalty, but their version of the death penalty is pretty cool. What they do is they put you in a cell and you're doing your daily routine in prison, and you have no idea when you're going to get executed. They don't tell you the date or the time. It could be a month from now. It could be a year from now. It could be 10 years from now. You don't know. And that's how they keep you on your toes. And even if you're on your toes, you know sooner or later that guy is coming for you, the executioner. He's going to come and he's going to collect you, and that's it. Do you see the end of that movie, Citizen X? I believe the guy's name was Chicolito, and he was a serial killer in Russia. And they took that guy into an empty a cell, and it had like, and the guy comes into the cell, and look it up on YouTube, Citizen X, and he had done a lot of serial killer, right? They took this guy into a cell, and it had a drain in the floor, and the guy looks down at the drain. And then the guy pulls out a gun, the executioner pulls out a gun, and he's just one guy in a cell alone. And he's like, "Excuse me, could you please face the wall, please, comrade? Face the wall." Boom! See, in those countries, they don't play these games. That's the reason why violence and crime is not trickling up there, because their violence and crime is swiftly handled and dealt with permanently. And I got to tell you the last story. The Chinese, you know what they do? When they give you a trial, you're found guilty of the violence that you caused, and then they take you out into a field, and they have a rifle with the soldier. The soldier puts the rifle in the back of your head, and he's like, "Yeah, please open your mouth," because they don't want those bullets bouncing back out of your teeth, because you got to remember, enamel is pretty hard. Tooth enamel is pretty hard. Those bullets will bounce back. So the soldier's like, no, please open your mouth, right? Boosh, boosh. That's the last thing you hear. Well, you don't hear the second boosh. You don't hear that. You hear the first one. No, you don't even hear that. So the bottom line is, these other countries, they got control of their people. But when you go down to some of these other countries, nah, man, you get kidnapped and they're looking for ransom. Yeah, when was the last time somebody got kidnapped in China? When was the last time somebody got American? When was the last time an American tourist got kidnapped in China? When was the last time an American was kidnapped in South Korea or Japan? That doesn't happen. You know why? Because they don't play. They don't play over there. Those people wouldn't even dare take your camera or your cell phone from you, because they know if their government gets them, it's over. Over. That's how they got to do it. So, yeah, I ain't going down to some of these countries. I ain't doing it. Not until they stabilize their population. I ain't going down there. So anyway, what's the end of the story? It says, but the allure of a foreign fling isn't just reserved for men. On the flip side, women are also heading over. No, this is all fluff. We read this story before. I read this story. They found one woman, Sepe Tabibian, 35. That's no, what the Christmas killer? Texas for Madrid after growing tired of swiping on dating apps. I read this story before because this guy who's the New York Post guy, this guy went online and he was looking up other Passport Bros stories, and he pulled up this story about Tabibian. I know this story because I've read all of these stories aloud for you. So I have this already on record. No, she was Christmas caker, number one. And number two, the guy she got was old. Nobody cares that she was invisible. That's why she had to leave in the first place. She was invisible. See, the problem is women have a superpower. It's called invisibility. But the problem is they slowly get more and more invisible as they get older. Now, the crazy thing about it is men are just the opposite. Men are invisible, and they slowly get more visible as they get older and make more money, and they get better jobs and careers. So it's crazy how men and women are the exact opposite. The women are highly visible, and then they slowly become invisible. But the men are invisible, and they slowly rise and become visible. I just think that is so odd about how men and women are different in that respect. So let's see. The arguably misogynistic movement has also been met with vitriol online. Yes, I've talked about that ad nauseum. All right, I'm going to keep going. You can read this yourself. I'll leave you the link. People need to paint Passport Bros as losers or predators because they can ignore the state of dating culture in America and how they contributed to it. Abetya, who is currently trawling for potential spouses in Tokyo, shrugs off judgment, saying it's disappointing to see Americans bash people in other countries and calling the haters jealous. In terms of how it impacts women in the U.S., there's an expression of letting. Now, see, this is what women did. And this is where I'm going to end. Women are so egotistical that even though they see that their gravy train is literally drying up, soon there won't be any men for you to marry so that you can steal half of your money from him. Let me phrase it like that. They're egotistical to the point where even though they see that the dating pool is becoming more and more toxic because of them, by the way, they see that their daughters have less future prospects because the damage that is being done right now by them and the passport bros telling young men, no, this you don't have to accept this bullshit. You can go overseas. They see it happening right now in real time, but their egos are so large that they would try to control the situation because they want full control. They demand the right of rejection. That's what they want. They want to be able to reject you. They don't want you to be able to reject them. They have such high ego that they refuse to understand that the gravy train is over. It's dried up. In fact, President Joe Biden couldn't even save them from student loan payments, which are about to resume very soon. Joe Biden, who they voted for, couldn't even save them from the Federal Reserve that kept raising interest rates. And now their credit cards, they're afraid to use them because the interest rate payments are so high. Think about that for a second. So they have no control anymore, and their egos can't take it. I want you to think about the number of women who used to be all high and mighty driving these Mercedes, these BMW trucks. Look at them now when interest rates are so high, they can't sell any of this shit. I pass by the same Mercedes BMW every day. Those cars are still sitting there. What happened to the boss babes? What happened to the bad bitches and the boss babes? Oh, yeah. Well, apparently, when the welfare state dries up, and apparently when those credit card interest rates go up, apparently the boss babes and the bad bitches, they seem to die off. They seem to disappear. The egos that have been created are being torn down, brick by brick. The passports are being purchased. The enhanced driver's ID licenses that allow you to fly are being purchased. Slowly, the gravy train is dying up, and they can't take it. So what do? Oh, yeah, well, we don't need you anyway. Let the trash take itself out. That's what we're dealing with here in America. And the foreign women know it, and the foreign women are beckoning the passport bros to come there. Even the Christmas cakes are beckoning the passport bros. Listen, I'm a Christmas cake, and I'm interested in passport bros. Because they know that a passport bro put a ring right on their finger. All they got to do is be fit, feminine, and friendly. The Philippine girls know all they got to do is make that chicken adobo, and to make some of that pancit for them, they're good, and fill their man's stomach up with rice and pancit and adobo. The Filipino girls know what it is. They know what it is. Them Chinese women who are over the age of the Christmas cake, they know. They know, wait a minute, so you're telling me all I got to do is fix this fresh shui mai and this fresh nan gua bing and chow yo yu for my man, and the passport bro put a ring on my finger where this Chinese guy right here says, no, Sheng Yu, I don't like Sheng Yu. Oh, to hell with these guys, I'll get me a passport bro. I read a story, I think it was yesterday. A Chinese woman was explaining that herself. She was like, yeah, listen, these passport bros are opportunities for the 5 billion of us who don't have opportunity. Meanwhile, the American women, oh yeah, we don't need you. Let the trash take itself out. Okay. My trash day is Friday and Tuesday. So we're going to let the trash take itself out. Right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, bet. Okay. We'll see. So that is what it is. So that's the story. I'll leave you the link. I think I've explained this enough. So this guy right here, as we saw from his photo, this guy right here is having a great time. This guy right here is drinking up the milkshakes. and he's having a great time. And when he finally, I don't know when he's gonna finally marry, when he's gonna marry. Because you know it's funny, these strags. Oh yeah, why aren't you married yet? Where's your wedding? Why aren't you married yet? Now even when I post the wedding photos, they ignore them. But the thing about it is, the problem, I will say this, the one problem with international dating is the amount of money it takes, because it's kind of expensive. I mean, these flights. But the thing about it is that just tells you that the men who are doing it have money. So you can't paint them as poor. You can't paint them as low class. The men are spending $1,000 round trip and posting receipts. So they gotta have money. You're just mad that your plan B is drying up. You're just mad that you have no control over these men's reproductive freedom and you have no control over these men's resources. That's why they're mad.
Shame on any woman that will lie around being lazy all day while her husband is at work. When he comes back home, you should be showered and clean, there should be food on the table, and sex should be an option.
When I said I was an independent woman, I meant like I can pay my own bills. I didn't mean I wanted to shovel my driveway in between doubles. I did not put that on my resume for being a badass bitch. That's all.
¿Cómo que llama el gallo? Bingo.
Well, hello everybody. I'm from Thai.
I'm from the Philippines.
We're sitting here long ass time for our passport to come in. So where are you?
We're waiting for the passport, bro.
Don't hate.
Cheers.
To be continued.